Hello, everyone. Uh, Welcome to the first episode of Marxism Demystified, where we're going to be talking about the Communist Manifesto. This is just for anyone interested in communist theory or who's just curious about what the actual beliefs from the horse's mouth of Marx and Engels themselves are, rather than having it be filtered down through bread tubers and revisionists and altered history books and whatnot. So without further ado, let's get into it. The first section is called the Bourgeois and Proletarians, and he basically defines the two terms where the bourgeois or the bourgeoisie are defined as the capital owning class who own the means of production, which can be broadly defined as land or machines, basically capital that allows for the production of individual goods or services, while the proletarians, on the other hand, are everyone else. We see this best exemplified in this quote from page 62, in which they say that the physician, the lawyer, the priest, and the poet have all been turned into wage laborers by capitalism. This statement echoes the sentiment that capitalism continues to erode old class distinctions into nothing more than wage servants to the bourgeois capital owning class. On page 77, we also see the solution to this problem. The proletarian are the immense majority and must work in its own interest. To throw off the shackles of the bourgeoisie, it is necessary to organize those who would be made into wage slaves into an organized force. This organization upon class lines is generally referred to as class consciousness. All right, the next section is called Proletarians and Communists. And before we get into the 10 points that basically are the foundation for every Communist Party to come after the publication of this manifesto, I wanted to talk a little bit about the claim that communists want to deprive people of private property. If you are a member of the capital owning class, if you are bourgeois, this is kind of true, but this doesn't mean that communists, once taking power, are going to break in your door and take away your toothbrush or whatever. On page 82, a retort to this is basically stated, saying that self-earned property of the petty artisan and peasant, which preceded capitalism, has already been done away with. Um, the peasant's land is no more in 2023. It was barely a thing in the 1800s. So as time has marched on and capitalism has progressed, we see less and less of these property distinctions that were awarded to certain people are done away with. Everyone is either a wage slave or a capitalist. There is no in between anymore. And those who claim that the middle class is like the solution to the problem, the middle class just keeps shrinking day in and day out. It's getting harder and harder for people to acquire education, to acquire capital, to acquire anything besides the labor that they can offer to the capitalist marketplace. All right, let's go into the 10 measures outlining a party platform. So I just wanted to preface this by saying that anyone who doesn't include these in their party platform or says that they're not important has not read this book and probably is working against the interests of the proletarian class at large. Like a while ago, I saw some Pat Sock manifestos, some patriotic socialists talking about doing like five things that were actually stated on here, and the rest were just made up garbage. So if you want to get active in community and promote communist theory, it is vital that you analyze and try to implement all 10 of these measures into your party platform. So let's get into what they are. Abolition of property and land and rents of land to the public, a graduated income tax, an abolition of inheritance, confiscations of rebel and bourgeois property, centralization of credit by state means of nationalized bank, centralization of communication and transport, extension of state-owned institutions of production, equal liability of all to labor, the construction of industrial armies, especially in agriculture, abolition of town and country, and free public education. All right, the next section of the book is called Socialist and Communist Literature, which he basically um, dissuades certain schools of thinking at the time that were labeled as socialist that we wouldn't really think of as socialist anymore. First, on page 99, there's a quote about Christian socialism, which states that it is but the holy water the priest uses to consecrate the aristocrat. Marx couldn't have said it any better. I think that pretty much describes every Christian socialist that I've ever had the displeasure of interacting with. Bourgeois socialism is desirous of redressing social grievances to secure its continued existence, it being the bourgeoisie themselves. Um, and for utopian socialism and communism that rejects all revolutionary action and wishes to attain their ends by peaceful means, these enterprises are necessarily doomed to failure because the bourgeois will not give up their means of exploitation without the use of force. They are too entrenched in their beliefs, and any hope that time will gradually erode their will to dominate the proletarian is foolish because as time goes on, we see that they continue to oppress more and more rather than loosen their iron grip that they have on the workers. And lastly, just as a little quote from the manifesto, I forgot exactly what page it's on, but religion is the opiate of the masses. Basically, religion is a tool used by the bourgeoisie to confound and muddy the relationship that it has with the proletariat. And so it's basically trying to um, appease them through means of spiritual platitudes and moral moral arguments. Position of the communists is very simple: support every revolutionary movement against the existing social political order. Thank you all for watching. Workers of the world, unite. This has been West Easy on Marxism Demystified, and I will be making another one of these on state and revolution in a little bit. I'm going to see how this does first. Regardless of how this does, I'm going to make that other video. But hope you all enjoyed. Hope you all learned something, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.